Tulsa, you're next on my screen. Oh, I'm sorry, Nate. Go ahead. You're the MC. I jumped
All
on.
right. Well, yeah, sure. I'll go across the screen on my end as well. So, Tulsi, Dr. Wick, you can say a few minutes about what you do and what you teach, maybe also.
Yeah, thanks, Nate. I'm an astrophysicist, astronomer. I teach electromagnetic theory part 2 here with Dr. Angela Capizzi. She's doing part 1 typically, and general relativity. I also teach physics 163 and 162. That's elementary. So my research interests are in gravitational waves and gravitational lensing. And I'm a theorist, and I also have very big interest in using our 27-inch telescope. We have a fantastic telescope, research grade plane wave machine with a CCD camera. And we got this thinking that one day we should be able to observe an exoplanet, so that is a planet going around another star. And this semester we were very lucky with Nick, and we came this close, but the virus got us, unfortunately. So that's something that I like to do in future, and if you're really interested in astrophysics. So, so other than that, I also have very keen interest in all the mathematical things, especially fluid dynamics and things like that. And we can talk more, and if you're more interested.
Great, thank you, Tulsi. Angie, how about you?
Hi, I'm Angie Capizzi, and my research is in plasma physics and material science. So it's kind of like at the intersection of those two fields. So I look at the most recent project that we're looking at is how to create nanoparticles using an electron beam, and we're working on getting a setup together for creating nanoparticles with a plasma source. So if you work in my lab, I do experimental work. So a lot of the students get to learn how to use the scanning electron microscope. We've also sent some students to Princeton University to use their user facilities where they can use different spectrometers. And then I'm affiliated with the Princeton Plasma Physics Lab, which is in, Princeton. And it's only 25 minutes from us. So some students have gone over there and done some summer projects and some projects during the semester. And they have a whole center around low temperature plasmas. So that's kind of what I do for research. As far as teaching goes, I've taught the intro physics course, so you're the first course in the physics sequence that you would take as a freshman, but I'm not teaching it this fall. Dr. Richards is, I think, right? Yeah. Okay. But I usually teach that class, and also have teach the second semester course, and I teach E&M, and I have a plasma physics class. But I will see you in the fall for the orientation to physics. So I'm going to be teaching the orientation to physics. So it's like a seminar style class. So, yep.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
AJ, you want to say a few things about yourself?
Sure. Hey, everyone. I'm AJ Richards. My specialty is in physics education research. So basically, I investigate how do students learn about physics and how can we teach it the best way. So my research is, certainly of interest to a lot of physics teachers, but also general physicists as well. And we have research students investigating a couple cool things, which is very nice. And we can definitely talk more about that if you're interested. I'm also very involved in the teacher preparation program. So if you're interested in studying to be a high school physics teacher in our physics secondary ed program, I would be teaching your science teaching methods course. I also teach as we've said, the intro physics courses quite heavily, and some of the general education courses as well. And I'm also a proud alumnus of the TCNJ physics department, and I loved it so much I couldn't wait to come back. And that's a pretty good endorsement as far as I'm concerned. You're muted, Nate.
Thanks, AJ. All right, Nick, you're next.
Hi, this is Nick Nash. I'm teaching in the physics department. My area of research is computational biophysics, concentrating on cancer research. Students and I do simulations on computers trying to find molecules that can block proteins responsible for cancer progression, and we have published papers in the past. We plan to do that in the future. As far as teaching goes, I usually teach modern physics, quantum mechanics, general physics classes, and some introductory liberal learning classes. And also, of course, biophysics, which is part of the biophysics specialization in our department. Okay.
Great, thank you, Nick. Let's see, Lorraine, you want to say a few things?
Sure. I'm Lorraine Lance. I joined the faculty this fall. So far, I've taught the general class on the solar system, which is open to everyone, and the 400 level, upper level astrophysics course. Next spring, I'll be teaching a course on how to observe with telescopes and on introductory astronomy for physicists. So as you may have guessed, I'm an astronomer. I focus more on the observation side compared to Dr. Wick. So my research is on galaxies and their supermassive black holes. I use NASA telescopes as well as ground-based telescopes. And so my research involves going out to telescopes to take observations, but then spending lots of time analyzing those data and trying to understand what they tell us about the galaxies involved. Nick Toussey did a project with me in the fall looking at data from the NASA telescope Chandra, and this spring he's been trying to use our own large telescope on campus to try and detect planets around other stars.
Great, thank you. Okay, one more faculty member, last but not least, Shannon.
Hey, Shannon Graham, geophysics professor. So I study how the Earth deforms an earthquake hazard and volcano hazard. I'm looking into Jamaica right now. They just had an earthquake this past year, pretty large for its location. I teach the intro geology class and the advanced geology class. This semester for advanced geology, we were looking at earthquake and volcanoes in particular. So we've had a lot of fun so far. No, anything else?
No, that's great. Thank you, Shannon. Okay, so that's most of the faculty that are with us. I believe that's 8 out of the 10 of us. The only people I think who couldn't join us today are Dr. Ochoa. You having trouble hearing, Shannon?
No, I was just saying, where's Dr. Ochoa?
Oh, I'm not sure. He might be in class. I'm not sure why he couldn't make it. But, and Dr. Nguyen. So Dr. Ochoa organizes a lot of the introductory physics classes and helps develop new interesting labs in physics. He also teaches optics and electronics and does research in optics. And Dr. Nguyen teaches biophysics and also sometimes teaches particle physics and thermodynamics, as well as introductory physics. And his research area is in neurophysics. So if you're interested in the way the brain works or working with live rat neurons, Dr. Nguyen's the person to talk to. I speak for all of us. I think that any prospective students, if you have any questions about any particular courses or any research areas, we all have research programs with undergraduates. We'd all love to work with you. I think that's one of the most exciting things about our department is that each of us has a real research program where we're working to discover new things about physics that nobody knows yet. And it's a really exciting opportunity at TCNJ for our undergraduate students to really get in the thick of that research process. That's something that TCNJ overall and our physics department does especially well. More than almost any place in the country. If you want to get involved in real physics research as an undergraduate, this is for sure the place to come. Lots of exciting, fun things happening. Okay, so next, Let me let the current students that are with us, I think we've got 4 of them with us right now. Maybe you guys can say just a couple things about where you are in the program and some of the things that you'd like to tell prospective students about your experience in our department. So Rob, how about you? Will you go first for?
Sure. So my name is Rob Wagner. I'm a senior in the department. I'm on the ed track to be a teacher. I'm actually in with Shannon, a 5-year master's program that we're the first group for. So I'll be here for 1 more year to get my master's in urban education. In the program for physics department, I've done research with 2 professors. Yes. I've worked with Dr. Nguyen. I did, it's called the Muse program. It's a summer research experience here on campus for, I think, 8 weeks, doing research all day. It's really fun. I also did an REU experience this past summer. Yeah, and I also worked for, with the observatory with the telescope. We have open hours for the public to use the smaller telescope, and I've worked with that for, this was my 2nd year doing that.
Great, thank you, Rob. Shannon, how about you? Will you go next?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Shannon. I'm also a physics secondary ed major. I graduate this year with my physics degree, but I'll be here for another year like Rob is for my master's. Just a little bit about me. I lived on campus all 4 years, so if you want to ask questions about what it's like to live on campus, I got 4 years of experience. Well, 4 and like 3 and 3/4 of an experience for you before I got kicked off, I guess. But another thing, I worked 2 jobs while I was on campus. So I know some people have questions about like what it's like to work a job and be a student. Like I did both, a lot of hours working, but I also worked for the physics department as a drop-in tutor, which was a really, really cool experience. And what I to be a Dr. Richards and once for Dr. Ochoa, who's not here. And I think definitely if you're thinking about being a teacher, it's something you should look into because it's a really cool experience to try and get your feet wet doing some teaching. But even if you're not, it's a great way to like refortify your knowledge, and it's great for applications too, to say like, hey, I knew my stuff well enough that I was able to teach other people. I think that's my list, but if you guys have any questions, I'd love to answer them, and I'm excited for you guys to be here with us on virtual Accepted Students Day.
Thank you, Shannon. All right, Nick, you want to go next?
Sure. Hi, Nick Tuesday. I am a senior. Believe it or not, I'm a non-traditional student, so I'm quite a bit older than most of the students. I actually already have a degree from Rutgers University, getting a 2nd bachelor's degree in physics because I wanted to go to grad school in astrophysics. So I thought that TCNJ would be the perfect place to do that. It's a lot different than Rutgers. It's a much smaller department. And what I've come to find is that I really, really love that about TCNJ. But what actually surprised me even more was the fact that, as people have alluded to, there's a lot of opportunity for research at TCNJ, and that's really helped me out quite a bit. So if you get the chance while you're here, I would highly recommend trying to get your feet wet in some research. All of the faculty are really great, very approachable, and have a lot of wonderful opportunities. And so yeah, so I highly recommend doing that. We've got a lot of great resources. As some of the professors noted, have been working with the telescope that TCNJ has, the research telescope, which is really impressive machine. We're working on getting it up to, new science standard operating capabilities. So it's really exciting what TCNJ what opportunities TCNJ has. So yeah, welcome. And if you have any questions about anything, feel free to ask.
Hey, Nick,
Thank you, Nick.
tell them about your prestigious.
Yeah, you're being too humble.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, I didn't want to go on forever. I mean, I really could. I mean, TCNJ has been amazing, and the best. Okay, so I just recently accepted an offer at Penn State to go to grad school at Penn State next semester, and the really nice thing about that is that Penn State really recruited me heavily after they found out that I won the NSF GRFP, which is a very prestigious grant from the federal government, from the NSF, awarded to students, very, very select few students for graduate studies research. And I could not have done it without a lot of help from a lot of the faculty, and in particular, Erin Tiedekin, who is the TCNJ's grant writer, who I'm sure a lot of the faculty know and have used her extensively as a resource. She's amazing. So that has been incredible. And so there are a lot of other resources at TCNJ that, that just sort of you might not necessarily know about, but are there and are very powerful. So yeah.
Great, that's good. Thank you, Nick. Yeah, lots of our seniors are already planning to do great things next year. Rob and Shannon mentioned how they're some of the first students going into this urban education master's degree program. And both of them have won prestigious Noyce scholarships, full tuition scholarships, to help them with preparing to be physics teachers. There's a really high demand for new physics teachers, and our department is doing really great things in that area. And I'll let Alyssa talk in a second, but she's planning to go into medicine. So that's another thing that physics students do quite a bit that not everybody knows about. Physics is a really good and unique way to prepare to be a doctor. So lots of really amazing things that our physics graduates go out in the world to do. So Alyssa, you want to say a couple things?
So hi, I'm Alyssa. I'm a junior, and so as we said, I'm pre-med, so I'm also minoring in chem, and I'm doing the biomedical physics specialization. I worked in 2 research labs, one with Dr. Yen and the other with Dr. McGee. I work as a tutor and in the physics department as a laboratory tech. And I don't know what else to say. What did everyone else say?
That's good. That's good. Thank you, Alyssa. So I will go over, like I had mentioned, I wanted to go over highlight a few other things about our department, but I know most of you guys have probably seen pieces of those PowerPoint slides before. So before reviewing a couple of those things, again, I wanted to make sure to give you guys a chance to ask questions and put you on the spot a little bit. So maybe I can just go in order here and see if you don't have any questions, maybe you could just introduce yourself and tell us where you're at and how things are going. So Ben, would you mind starting?
On me?
Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Ben.
Okay, sorry, I zoned out for a bit. What was this about again?
Oh, I was just going to ask if you could just say a couple things about where you're at, how things are going, and whether whether you have any questions about anything in the physics department.
Well, first off, hi guys, I'm Ben. I'm a prospective physics and secondary ed major. here at TCNJ. So yes, I am hoping to become a teacher in this field.
Great.
And I'm just really excited to be there in the next few years.
Good. Well, we're excited to have you, Ben. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't really have any questions at the moment. But,
Okay, that's all right.
yeah.
Taylor, is it okay if I ask you? Could you say a couple things about yourself and if you have any questions for us?
Sure. So, can you hear me?
Yeah,
okay.
Great.
So, my name is Taylor, and I am also a non-traditional student. I am at Bergen Community College right now in the physics department, and I'm actually looking to move forward with astrophysics. So, I guess my question is more for Nick, because I've gotten accepted to quite a few schools, and I'm really proud of the schools that I've been accepted to. But right now, because I am non-traditional, financially speaking, TCNJ and Rutgers are kind of the best fit for me. I've been offered scholarships at both. So I guess for Nick, more than anything, what did you like about Rutgers and what did you like about TCNJ that kind of weighed heavily in your research?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I got my first degree at Rutgers in mechanical engineering, and I felt like it was just such a big school, and even the engineering department was so big that I kind of got lost in the weeds, and my advisors weren't particularly interested in my best interests so much as just sort of getting me through the program. And I didn't realize all the opportunities that were available and everything. And it's just because of the size of the school, I felt like it was really easy for me to miss a lot of things. At TCNJ, it's a very small department, very intimate. The professors are all incredibly approachable, and it's really hard to miss what's going on. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot of opportunities that are available to the students. For me, as a non-traditional student, I originally picked TCNJ over going back to Rutgers because TCNJ is 5 minutes down the road for me. And it's actually a little bit cheaper than Rutgers. So I was just like, this just makes better financial sense. But then when I got to TCNJ, I was like, this was a great choice. It really wowed me once I was there. And so I not only do I not regret it, I'm grateful that I made the choice for TCNJ over Rutgers.
It's amazing, especially because being non-traditional, it's like hard to fit in sometimes. But also as a woman in STEM, I even at Bergen, like I've been overlooked quite a few times and over other opportunities, even with non-traditional male students. So it's just trying to find that balance has been just.
Yeah, I was really worried coming in at first about like how I was gonna be perceived and like how hard I was gonna have to fight upstream to be like, no, I really belong here. Like,
right.
I'm doing, this is the path that I've chosen. This is what I'm doing. But everybody has been extremely supportive. Right from the very first meeting I had with Dr. Dave McGee, to be like, yeah, we can totally make this work. Like, let's talk it out. Let's give you all the tools that you need to succeed. And then the students, my first day, were just like, hey, what's up? Like, get into this group meet with us, and let's, if you have any problems with the homework, like, let's talk it out. And so yeah, it has been a very supportive community for us non-traditionals. So
yeah,
don't
Nick,
worry about that.
You really kept a low profile with the ukulele you brought everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, all right. So I stuck out like a sore thumb. I get it, but.
And I'm very much the opposite. I'm very much just like,
But the opportunities are there for if you need people to support you, then people will be supportive.
Amazing. Thank you for your input. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. That's helpful. Maybe that would be sort of a good segue. Maybe Angie, could you say a couple things about some of the things that, you know, we've been working really hard to try to make our department as inclusive as possible. And I think a lot of really good things are happening with regard to encouraging, you know, gender, you know, even gender diversity in our physics department. Angie, could you say a couple things about that?
Yeah, sure, I would love to. So as you know, Taylor, you found out, it's pretty rare to be a woman in physics, and across the country, it's about 20% of physics majors are women. And, you know, I do know that a lot of women feel sort of marginalized in physics. And at TCNJ, it's really not like that. We have our incoming, like the freshman class just before you guys, has about a third are women. So that's a lot better than 20%. So, and it's a good chunk of students. There's like 5. And so they work together and they talk together. And so there's a lot more like camaraderie around you know, women in physics. And because our department is small, it's already hard for you to be like on the sidelines, because like our incoming classes are anywhere from like 15 to 25 students. So you're not really gonna get lost in there. And everybody's really supportive. And I'm sure like Shannon and Alyssa can probably like say a little bit more. We've also had transfer students come in and they get integrated, I think, pretty easily. We are also, out of the 10 faculty, there are 3 women faculty, and in the fall, we're gonna be interviewing for a 4th female faculty. So that also helps, like, so you have a faculty that's a little bit more representative, that has more women. So it's nice, you can have a chat, like, you know, you can talk to us about what, you know, whatever, and we're here to kind of support and help. We also hosted in 2019 the Conference for Undergraduate Women in Physics, which was a huge thing. We had like 300 people on campus, and we had women from all over the Northeast that were physics majors that came to TCNJ, and they for like 3 days, and they stayed over at a hotel, and we had like all this great food, and we had really great programming, and a lot of Nick was there, Shannon went, so it was a really great conference. And this coming year in January, it's at Princeton, which is local. And so there's opportunities for you to go to that conference and meet other women in physics around the Northeast. And that's like a really cool way to like feel plugged into the physics community. So we're really trying hard to be more inclusive and make sure that our women students really feel like they're supported, and that they can, you know, they're not just like being ignored or, you know, not able to be part of things. It's really not the way that it works at TCNJ. It's a really different kind of environment than at other places. That's my opinion. I've been at a lot of places.
Nate, can I add something, please?
Yeah, go ahead, Tulsi.
Well, unlike in physics, you know, in astronomy, there has been a great tradition of female astronomers and astrophysicists, as you probably know. And in fact, this great tradition, as far as I know, in the United States started at Harvard University. So Lauren is from Harvard. I think you should find out from her a little bit more about that.
I did do my PhD at Harvard. Taylor, a couple things I would say is, if you want to become a professor in astronomy, the name recognition of your undergraduate school matters a lot less than the name recognition of your graduate school. And one of the ways to get into a good graduate school is to do research as an undergrad. So coming to a place like TCNJ is great because there's quite a lot of opportunities to do research, and having done research is really key to getting into a grad school.
And Lorraine, on that note, Nate, correct me if I'm wrong, what is the statistic on science PhDs from TCNJ students? Where are we on that national list?
Yeah, that's good. I'm trying to remember. I know that I believe we're 3rd in the United States for undergraduate only colleges. So for colleges that have no graduate programs, TCNJ I think is produced more physical science PhDs than in the last like 5 years or 10 years than every place except Harvey Mudd and Carleton, I think.
Yeah.
We became #1 in one of the years, if I can remember correctly.
Yeah, I don't know. We have to figure it out.
Few years back, we were the
I
#1.
think last year we were #1, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I missed that.
So Nick, you know, it's on you. You're keep the tradition going. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Well, Jillian, how about, could you say a couple things about yourself and if you have any questions for us?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. All right. So as it says, my name is Jillian, and I applied early decision for TCNJ. It's the only school that I applied to. It's the only school I've ever wanted to go to. And I'm doing secondary education for physics.
Okay.
My sister is a senior at TCNJ right now. She's in the nursing program. And just a shout out to all the seniors. I feel so bad about your senior year and your graduation, but just wanted to say that I feel so bad for you guys, but you guys are amazing. And I'm just really excited to be going to TCNJ. I originally had applied for math for secondary education, but then, you know, I had been encouraged by my school to like push for physics. I got that email about, you know, that there's a big push for physics teachers, and that's something that I loved physics, so I want to give it a try. I want to succeed in it, but it's definitely going to be an experience. Yeah.
Great, thank you, Jillian. We're excited to have you, and we know it's disappointing not to be able to have all of the pomp and circumstance and graduation ceremonies for senior college students, but I know that senior high school students are in the same boat. That's disappointing, I'm sure, for a lot of you. Angela, could you say hi to us, and if you have any questions?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you great.
Hi, I'm Angela. I'm also doing physics secondary ed, and I do actually have a question. Like, what type of classes can I be expecting and taking next year?
Maybe I'll throw that one to Dave McGee, since he's our chair. He can describe the first year curriculum a little bit.
Sure. Your first year is the two main courses that you will take will be our Physics 203, which is our introductory physics course. And along with that, you'll take basically Calculus 1 or Calc A, Math 127. Those are the two sort of cornerstone courses that you would start with. Your other two courses, we typically recommend students take 4, would be up to you. And we can help advise you on that during orientation in the summertime. But one of them, for example, you could take a language if you want, or one of your liberal learning requirements, or a computer science course. There's lots of options for those other two courses. One course, it is a 5th course, but it's more like a seminar, is the orientation to physics with Dr. Capisi. Do I got that right? You're teaching that, right, in the fall? Correct. Okay. So on that helps you get your feet wet in what is this physics major all about. So the really nice part about that sequence that you take in that first semester is that Physics 203, we designed it so that it is you and all of the other incoming first year physics majors. So you're not thrown into a class with engineers and not that there's anything wrong with those folks, but we've learned over the years that it's better to have a class where you get to know everybody in your physics major class. And so you get that entire class to yourself. And so that we find is a very useful thing for incoming physics majors. So everybody here today, when you come here, hopefully in September, you will all see each other again in that same introductory physics class. And we find that to be a very powerful experience. And then the second semester is more or less the same cycle. You'll take Calculus 2 or Math 128, and then you'll take Physics 204, which is the second semester version of that. So it's a fairly standard first year sequence. It doesn't vary much across the United States, but what I like about what we did with it is we made it specifically for physics majors. We don't throw you in with the general population. So I hope that answers your question.
Great, thank you, Dave. Let's see, so is it Michael, I think, Pedowitz, are you able to hear us okay? Could you say a couple things? Oh, I'm not sure if you're coming through there. I saw it go unmute for a second, but anyway, Michael, if you aren't able to get a microphone to work, you're welcome to put a question in the chat window. Yeah, I see there on the chat your mic's not working. So if you do have a question, don't hesitate to throw it in the chat window there, and we'll try to answer. Let's see. Next there, I think on our list is Hewitt. Or let's see. It looks to me on my list that you go by Mel. Is that right?
Yes, that is.
Okay. How? Maybe just say a couple of things about yourself, and if you have any questions for us.
Well, I'm a transfer student from Pennsylvania, actually. We're right on the next to New Hope. So TCNJ is like a 20-minute drive for me. So
great.
And I guess my question is, since I'm transferring in, I had 1 year of at Drexel for physics, and then I went to community college. And so are there, I guess some of the introductory physics class, would I have to take those again, or well, I know some of my credit transferred over. I know, yeah, I just don't know where I'm gonna start per se.
Yeah, sure. I can answer that, and or at least I'll give you sort of a general answer to that. But we're also happy for you or for Taylor or anybody who is a transfer student. And I can see also that Michael had a question about AP scores, but you can send a copy of your transcript or list of courses that you've taken to me or the other Dr. McGee, and we can sort of give you an individualized answer on that. So I'm sure that, Mel, some of the courses that you would have taken at Drexel will transfer over no problem, and you shouldn't need to retake courses that are matched up or similar to what we have here available at TCNJ. Do you know, Mel, are you, or this could, I guess, go for Taylor as well, will either of you be coming in with having finished an associate's degree, or you would be coming in without an associate's degree?
I do have my associate's degree. It's in engineering, though. So
okay. How about you?
So I wouldn't be coming in with an associate's. I only have either 10 or 12 credits left before I was to get my associate's, but I was advised to try to transfer out before I finish.
Sure. Either way can definitely work. Depending on the number of credits that you transfer with, or if you have an associate's degree, it doesn't really affect the way you would transfer into the physics major. It affects what some of the what TCNJ calls learning or distribution requirements are fewer if you have an associate's degree, but any of the courses that you've taken at community college should transfer okay. And a couple other people referred to it, but I think that's another benefit of coming to a small program like our physics department, is that the chair, Dr. McGee, and your faculty advisor can help you figure out the best path forward through the program to make sure that you're taking advantage of everything that's available, and we're flexible and are able to make substitutions based on what expertise you already have. Dave, anything you would want to add to that?
Yeah, I would just say, Mel, if your courses at Drexel were, the standard introductory physics courses, most likely you would not repeat those at TCNJ. You would just pick up wherever you left off. So were they physics courses from the, for students who are going to be engineers?
No, they were physics courses for students that were going to be physicists.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the answer. That's even more beneficial. Yeah, you would very likely just start out in the second year of our program, where you would start with modern physics and mathematical physics and not have to take any of the introductory physics sequence. We would look at your transcript carefully just to make sure that, because I know Drexel's on a quarter system, so there could be some, courses might not overlap exactly, but I think it sounds like you would just come right in and jump into our modern physics sequence, or basically the second year of our program.
How about, could you say about how AP scores are treated? That was one of Michael's questions.
Thank you.
Yes. Those numbers I don't have off the top of my head. In other words, I don't recall the exact cutoff score, but for certain AP scores, yes, you could get credit for Physics 203 or Physics 204 if you want to. It all depends on that score, and that number does vary from year to year, so I don't know where we landed on for this year.
I think normally a 4 or a 5 will automatically give you credit. The credit will go on your transcript with a 4 or a 5 in any of the AP physics courses that are available. I know there are more than one AP physics. I think there are 3 different AP physics courses out there. So oh, go ahead. We can hear you now, Michael.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my microphone's still working.
Yeah.
I think there are actually 4 AP Physics courses. I got my 5 in just the AP Physics 1 algebra based.
Okay. Yeah, so that'll count, and that'll be a nice thing to have on your transcript. But I think, and this is true for most students that have taken AP courses, we recommend starting in the AP, or rather in the Physics 204 introductory energy and mechanics course with calculus that most of the first year physics students will take. It's nice to be in that cohort and get to know those other students that are starting with you. Definitely having done the algebra-based AP Physics 1 will give you a leg up, and that course, will be some review, but some of it will be new with calculus, and I'm sure the labs will be different than what you've seen before too.
Thank you.
Yep.
Michael, I had a similar question when I was entering undergrad, because I had AP credit, and I chose to take the class again at the college level, and it also made for an easier introduction that first semester compared to some classmates that I knew who skipped the classes that they could with AP credit and then struggled a bit because they didn't quite have a glide in their first semester.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, because it has been a year, so actually it's a good point.
Great. I saw you had questions, Michael. Were you curious about what astronomy courses were available?
Yes, please.
You want to take that, Lorraine and Tulsi?
Oh, let Lauren take it.
Sure. So we have 2 general ed introductory courses, 162 and 163. 162 covers the solar system, although I also do stars and exoplanet at the very end. Dr. Wick teaches the stars, galaxies, and the universe introduction one. And then on top of that, we have 3 upper level courses, Tulsi? We have a relatively new one that I'm going to be teaching next spring, which is going to be essentially Introduction to Astronomy for the Physicist with an emphasis on observational astronomy. Then there's Astrophysics, which is a 400 level course, which is going to be taught the fall after that. And then there's a class on general relativity.
Thank you.
Which, by the way, that lineup of astro courses is pretty thorough and rarely found at other undergraduate colleges. It's especially a course like general relativity that you will not find that at the huge majority of undergraduate colleges. We're very unique in that way. So, and it would be, as an undergraduate myself, I didn't realize how that varies across different schools, but at TCNJ, it's one of those things that I think we are unique in the spectrum of classes that we offer.
Thank you very much.
Let's see, I think the other student that I can see, at least on my list here, is Lou. Can you hear us okay? Do you have any questions for us, Lou? And again, if your mic's not working or if you stepped out for a minute, that's okay. If not. All right, well, Dave or other people, what do you think? Or other students, would it be helpful to go through a few of the slides, or do you think we should leave the discussion there? I'll let any of the prospective students, or Dave, do you want to give a suggestion there?
Yeah, how about if I think I can summarize what's on the slides in the sense of what, you know, coming from my perspective as the chair, what I think would be useful to prospective students to hear about the department. It's what for me, you know, you see how as a faculty we're very close and how we get along and how in a sense we work well together. But what might be not so obvious is that what you're looking at with our group of faculty is we all have some expertise in our own respective fields of physics, but all fields are represented in physics in our 10 to 11 faculty. And so it's very unusual to be able to go to a school and have enough faculty where you can get expertise in all of the areas of physics, but at the same time not get lost because you're in a department with 50 faculty. So TCNJ just has, to my mind, the perfect number of faculty, and we've been very careful to hire faculty that cover all of the fields of physics so that you've got the right size. And as a student, when I was an undergraduate, I had a similar experience to Nick. I went to a giant state school, and yeah, I was lost. And TCNJ to me is that perfect size. So it's hard to know that when you're shopping around for schools. And I guess in that note, the other thing I would say is that you know, we don't have graduate students, we don't have postdocs. Our job is to teach you. So you are our #1 priority. You're not something that gets in the way, which literally is what happens sometimes at large state universities. So, and that's why we're all here. So in that sense, you know, the fact that we also have the kind of facilities and equipment that you would find at a large research university is really unusual. It's very unusual to find that combination of research grade facilities and a faculty whose sole job is to teach you. So in that sense, it's hard to really know that when you're first thinking about a physics major, but you know, from my perspective, that's something that's very powerful. And it's one of the reasons I love being here. So that's, since I put together those slides, I know what's on them and it's not something I have to read to remember because this is what we do every day, right? So so that's my message I want to send to prospective students.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Dave. And the other thing I wanted to say is that those set of slides are already posted on the TCNJ Virtual Accepted Students Day. I think I put a link to it on the last reminder email that I sent out. So if you have a chance to look at those, they have a list of all of the faculty and a little bit about what each faculty member does, and a list of where a lot of our recent graduates have gone to grad school and where they're teaching and other labs and private companies they're at. So there's lots of there's some more detailed information, but I think Dave and what you've heard from the rest of the faculty captures most of what you'll see there too. Louis, did you say it looks like your microphone is working now?
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right.
You wanted to just say a little bit about yourself and if you have any questions for us?
Yeah, sure. I'm Louis. I'm a prospective student at TCNJ. I guess right now, currently, I'm more leaning towards the astrophysics department. I'm more interested in that field at the moment. I guess the only question I have really, just to clarify, the undergraduate research programs, those are, freshmen are going to have that opportunity as soon as we enter the school, like our freshman year, we'll have opportunities to do these research programs, or is it at a later point?
I guess I can try to take that one. We definitely will, try to encourage students to start thinking about research opportunities as soon as they get on campus. It is definitely true that students become more and more involved in research as they progress through the program. That's not to say that we discourage first-year students from getting involved. Some of them definitely do. But the first year for a lot of students is focused on classes and getting adjusted to living away from home and all the other opportunities that are on campus. And getting through those introductory physics classes can help students acquire the skills and techniques that are used in research. But like I said, if you're eager to do that, there are opportunities for freshmen. And every year, by the time students are sophomores, I would say that probably close to half of our students are involved in research in some way. And by the time they finish, there's hardly any student that makes it through without getting deeply involved in a research experience at some point. Anybody else want to add to that?
No, it would be unusual not to.
Yeah, go ahead, Shannon.
So I don't do research in the physics department. I've done research in the education department, and my boyfriend Chris, who's also a physics major, he does research in the chem department. So there's a lot of opportunity to do research in different disciplines, but still relate it back to physics, because what my boyfriend does, he does research with like computers and stuff that I completely don't understand, because like it's here and I'm like here. But like my education research is like for science education. So there's a lot of stuff that like it doesn't necessarily have to be in the physics department, but if you find a project here that you really, really like, go for it. But if you find a project in another section of campus, like that's another really cool thing that like TCNJ allows you to do.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thanks, Shannon. Physics is a challenging major. It's a really rewarding major, we think. But that doesn't mean that you have to do physics exclusively. We have people that do double majors. All the people that do physics education are what are called dual majors. So it's essentially a double major. We have students that do minors, students that do pre-med like Alyssa, students that have studied abroad. Dr. McGee has a program where there's a chance to study abroad in Germany if you're interested. Alyssa, I know, went to Europe right over winter break on a short-term overseas course trip. Lots of experiences, interdisciplinary experiences and things that you can do both inside and outside the physics program. And we really encourage students to take advantage of all of those opportunities.
Another thing is, beside all these opportunities in the summer and abroad, if you were taking a research course during the semester, it will actually count as your course. It's not something that you would do on top of 4 courses, but it'll be one of the 4 courses, and you would get a credit for that too.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thanks, Nick. That's not true at some schools. And actually, faculty get some credit for mentoring those as well. So, that's built into the faculty load. So, we really have the ability to dedicate real time to helping you with the research project.
There's also.
And, can I add something?
Yeah, go ahead.
So if you're really keen on astrophysics, of course, in the first year, you can start doing research with Lorraine or with me. But we are also looking for good people to stay with us because we have telescopes running and we have a wonderful planetarium. So especially I'm looking for good people to work in these places like for an extended period of time, like 3 years or so. So you will get experience with the telescope and also experience with the planetarium that we heavily use for classes and for open houses and things like that. And
yeah, and you get paid for that. You're paid for that.
That's right. And the chairman pays you very heavily for that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, we do. That's a good point, Tulsi, that in addition to traditional research opportunities, we employ many physics majors throughout the department. We have research facilities that need students to help us run them, and it's a great resume builder, and in addition to making a little extra money. So it's again, I remember as an undergraduate student basically being told, don't touch anything, right? That was my experience with faculty members. We're the opposite. We want you to get into labs and work. And in addition, we have these employment opportunities within the department. So, and you know, if you're interested in astrophysics, don't feel that the only thing you can do is work in the observatory. We're not like that. The boundaries are very blurred, and we like to keep it that way. So,
okay, thank you.
Nick, was there something else that you wanted to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that there's also some opportunities for presenting research at national conferences. I've been fortunate enough to have been able to, well, work with 3 of our astrophysics professors because 1 retired, and I was able to go to 2 AAS conferences, one last June and another this past January in Hawaii, which was kind of nice. That doesn't happen often, but there's often opportunities, you know, if you're really into doing research, not just in astrophysics. There's other physics conferences as well. You know, if you have the passion and you do some really amazing work, then the department has provided the opportunity to help students get to these national conferences to promote some of their work, and that's an incredible opportunity that you won't necessarily always get it at other institutions. So
great. Yeah, that's a good thing to add. Thank you, Nick. One more quick question from Michael was asking whether first-year students would be able to get into the and work with the planetarium their first year. And I don't know, Lorraine or Tulsi, you want to take that?
Well, probably not first year. First year, I think we like you to be with the other senior students, and then after you get some good experience, and perhaps in the second year you can join the forces, like, you know, because especially at the observatory, there are a lot of other students are going there to do projects, and you need to know the sky pretty well, and then the machines pretty well, so that takes some time. And even the planetarium, you will need, you know, a few weeks for you to get really good at it. At least 3 weeks, right?
Yeah, but there's no reason they can't start working.
No. In fact, it has been a tradition that the first year students are with us, you know, helping us in many different ways in the planetarium and the telescope. It has happened in the past numerous times. So you should not wait until the second year to do this.
Great. All right. Well, I think we've done a fairly comprehensive job here. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Are there any more last questions or comments that anybody wants to make?
Sorry, I just have a question that I meant to ask before.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
So just, I know there was a few people who are secondary ed physics majors, and I know how, I think 2 people said that they were after that going to go for their master's in urban education. you can also go for STEM, correct? Like I was looking at like online at TCNJ, like the master's programs that are available, you know, after your undergrad. And is STEM one of the options that you can go into as a master's? Does anyone know?
Yeah, I can answer that, and then if Shannon or Rob has anything to add, they can also. So there is what's called a post-baccalaureate program in integrative STEM, iSTEM, that is run through the engineering department. Professor Steve O'Brien and Professor Matthew Cathell, I know, are two of the people who help lead that program. And that is something that it's a fairly new master's program, but I know that there have been a couple people, not our recent graduates, but there are a couple people that had been out teaching physics already that came back and did that master's degree program and got a lot out of it. So that's definitely a possibility. So there's this urban education 5-year program. Excuse me, I'm sorry. That Rob and Shannon and actually a couple of our other students are doing that is a seamless transition. And you know, the integrative STEM, which is a little more multidisciplinary, is definitely another option. Shannon or Rob, anything you guys would add?
Yeah, I'll add on to it real quick. So even if like you're thinking about like having an interest in teaching things outside of physics, because I know that I do as well. My minor is in environmental education, so I'm kind of hoping that I'll be able to teach physics and environmental, but I wouldn't be opposed to the idea of teaching like a tech draw or like an engineering design class. So just because your major is physics, that doesn't necessarily mean like you will have to teach only physics. Like physics is a very like in demand like education position right now. So if you get hired as that and you say like, hey, in addition, like I'd really feel comfortable teaching like an engineering design or something like that. I mean, first of all, schools are going to eat you up. Like you'll be hired in like 45 seconds and like you get to teach something that you're really passionate about. So like definitely look into it if that's something that you think you might want to do. But there are like tons of like alt routes for masters as well. And some schools may even pay to help you get your master's if like they're really like want you to get your master's to teach something. So there's like a lot of different options and you have a lot of time to think about it too.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Shannon. Yeah, I would meant to add that this year we have 2 people in addition to Rob and Shannon and Cynthia who are graduating, planning to go into physics teaching after their master's degree. We have 2 other students, Carmen and Haley, who are graduating this spring, who are going out to teach right away. And they've been bombarded with more interviews than they could accommodate. And both of them have already tentatively accepted jobs for the fall. It's quite exciting. I saw that, is it, let's see, Dylan or Dustin?
It's Dustin, yeah. Hi.
Hi, welcome. Glad you could join us. So you just introduce yourself, and if you have any questions for any of us, we'd be glad to answer for you.
Thanks. My name is Dustin. I'm a high school senior who is thinking about going to TCNJ. And I want to become a professor in physics. That's my goal. I want to get a PhD when I'm older. I apologize for being late. I actually I've been working during this. I was actually on another Zoom call. So yeah, that's kind of why I'm dressed up right now. I'm glad I can make it. I guess my question is, to what degree can we study advanced topics during our undergraduate years?
Maybe Dave, do you want to take that?
Sure. And some students have heard this before in a different context, but I think I can answer the question this way. as an undergraduate physics program, TCNJ has an unusually broad range of upper level physics classes. You will see classes at TCNJ that you wouldn't find at most other undergraduate physics programs, like general relativity, like condensed matter, like the advanced laboratory class, like clouds and climate.
Plasma physics.
So, and the numbers, you know, there are many, many other classes like that we rotate through the curriculum, hoping that you can hit a good number of those. We don't have the luxury of offering them every semester, but then again, no school does. But we have them. And if you can't take them, then the other option is the fact that we are heavily driven towards individual research experiences, which can, you know, I don't want to say take the place, but they're even better than taking a class, because it's you and the faculty member, in a sense, almost one-on-one on a research project. So it is, as I said before, we are the perfect size, having 10 faculty that cover nearly every field of physics. We're small enough that you can take advantage of that, but at the same time, you won't get lost. So, and I'll end by saying this, that if you're interested in advanced study, one of the things we said earlier was that TCNJ, our physics department, and the School of Science in general, is usually in the top 2 or 3 in the country for students receiving PhDs after they leave. So you graduate from TCNJ with a degree in science, it would be hard not to get a PhD. Let's put it that way. So, and if that's what you want to do. So we've been pleasantly surprised to see our name shoot up to the top of that ranking. So it's a great place to springboard to a PhD, is the way I like to think about it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Very helpful.
Great. Well, I think that we've already been going an hour and 15 minutes here. So I think we'll probably wrap up the formal part of our discussion. If anybody wants to hang around for a couple minutes and chat or ask questions, I'll hang out here for at least another 10 minutes or so. I know, Dustin, you didn't get to hear everything. If you want to ask questions, we've got 8 of our faculty and 4 of our current students here with us. So if you have a question for current students, I'm sure they'd be happy to take one. But for everybody else that was able to join us today, thank you very much for logging on, and thank you for your questions. Really appreciate getting to see your faces and hear your voices, and good luck with the rest of your online senior year. And we really hope to see you in the fall. We'd be thrilled if you can join us. So.
Thank you. Thanks, Nate. And to the students, if you have questions, don't hesitate to email me or any of the faculty, okay? Great.
And one last thing, the whole, the entirety of this webinar recording, it might take them a day or two, but I would think by Monday or Tuesday next week, the recording video of the whole webinar should be posted on that virtual Accepted Students Day as well.
Great.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Hope you all have a nice weekend.
Thanks.
Thank you,
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, you too. All right, stay safe and healthy, everybody.
Yes, you as well.
Wash your hands.
What's your cat's name, Lorraine?
He's helping with the mute button. His name is Mary, after the Hobbit. Because a good friend of mine got a cat and named him Pippin, and then she lobbied. Hello.
Makes sense.
He comes to tell me that it's time for breakfast every morning, and then he comes to tell me it's time for bed every evening.
I thought he was going to ask about second breakfast.
He understands that humans don't really do second breakfasts. He's resigned himself.
What school are you at, Dustin?
I'm at Morristown High School
Okay.
in Burlington County, New Jersey.
So are your classes all moved online?
Yeah, I'm just hoping that we have graduation still.
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw this IHME curve that looked hopeful, but I mean, New Jersey kind of went over its projections for the last like 3 days, so I don't really know. Yeah. I've kind of been tracking it.
Yeah. What classes are you taking this semester?
I'm taking physics E&M, European history, statistics, Calc AB, but I'm taking the Calc BC AP test.
Mhm.
I'm taking sociology. Let me think. Taking sociology. I'm taking normal English. I'm not taking a language. I think that's it.
Mhm.
So yeah.
I forgot high school students took so much.
Yeah, it's a 4-year class though, so it's a bit different. So yeah.
Are the AP exams, I guess they were on computers anyway. Can you take them from anywhere?
Yeah, you can take them from anywhere. I think all you need is a computer and a phone to take a photo of the work, I guess. I'm not really sure.
Mhm.
We kind of had practice ones on College Board, and we were able to like do the work on a Google Doc.
Right.
But one of my teachers asked to do it on paper, so I guess I'm gonna do that instead, which I guess works better. So
you said that, you were definitely taking the BC calculus and which physics one were you going to take?
I'm taking physics C, electricity, and magnetism. I've already taken mechanics.
Oh, okay, great. Wow.
So yeah, I think with these 4, I would be taking 9 total AP tests, which is thanks. Yeah.
That's a lot.
I like to learn.
Yeah, great.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, that'll definitely, get you out of a fair number of first-year classes, and that really opens up ability to be more creative and take exactly the courses you want to take rather than just the ones you have to take.
Thank you. It's yeah. Huh.
Did you come in with AP credit, AJ?
I did. Yeah, I had a fair amount actually.
You probably missed AJ saying he was a TCNJ student not so long ago.
Yes, I'm an alum of the department, and I rushed back as soon as I could. Yeah, I came in with a fair amount of stuff, so it was nice. It allowed me to take a few courses for funsies. So
cool.
That was nice.
That's cool.
Any other questions, Dustin, that you can think of that we didn't get to answer for you?
Is it here, I'm gonna get them out actually.
That's okay.
Ethernet cable. I was using it for another class here. Let me go upstairs, get some books out. So I'm kind of curious which ones I should read first.
Okay.
I have here fields and particles, and this one or this one. I kind of already started reading this one, but I'll be honest, I was a bit lost. I kind of had to search up a lot, especially the prerequisite information was a bit.
Don't ask me to teach that one.
Yeah, so it's
It's been a minute since I did QFT.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Dr. Wick would be excited to talk to you about quantum field theory. I think that's
for sure.
Honestly, I got through chapter 1 and I'm still rereading it.
Yeah,
so.
well, that one's a challenge for anybody for sure, even with a lot of background physics. That's definitely one of the things about physics and anything that depends on math. The as you build up sort of your mathematical toolbox, it unlocks the next level of things. But I guess the Calc BC is some of that multivariable calculus, or is it mostly like integration? And what's in the Calc BC that you're taking?
I'm actually not taking calc. I'm taking the AP test for it, but I'm not taking the class itself.
I see.
But I have learned partial derivatives and some other multivariable stuff on my own.
Yeah.
So yeah. And I think it actually, I'm not sure if it's in the BC curriculum entirely.
Mm-hmm.
They actually cut a lot out of the BC test. I know it's not on the test.
Yeah.
It may have used to be.
Yeah.
But I also have a math book. I think it's not there. It should be. I have a decent amount of books. The heck did it go? Not that one. I'm kind of unorganized. Oh, here it is. I've this one. It kind of helps with some stuff. It's functional analysis.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like that, but I'm not sure because I kind of am lagging behind definitely on the math for quantum field theory.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But I'm not sure. Do you think this could catch me up on it? I don't really know.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that book. I don't know exactly what would be in functional analysis book. AJ, do you know?
No, I've
any recommended reading for Dustin there.
I mean, I'm trying to think back to when I took QFT in grad school. Linear algebra, I remember being quite helpful.
I'll start studying it. Thank you.
At TCNJ, I think if you do well on the, I think you'd need a 4 probably at least on the AP Calc BC. But I think if you did well on that, you would probably, TCNJ has 3 Calc sequence courses. So Calc A, which is mostly derivatives and beginning of integrals, and then Calc B is like series and integration, and then Calc C is mostly multivariable and some vector calculus. So my guess is that you would, start in the Calc C at sequence, and then, if you're already starting there, and if your goal is to, go into grad school, we would recommend, possibly thinking about minoring in math. You're part of the way there anyway, but you would definitely want to take linear algebra and multivariable calculus, Calc C, and then after that it would probably be differential equations and maybe partial differential equations. And once you get to 5 courses there, that already establishes a math minor. But like I said, we've had a few students that have double majored in math and physics, which is especially helpful for the advanced physics topic courses.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can't have too much math. I wish I had more.
Yeah, likewise, me too.
Yeah, same, honestly. Yeah.
Great. Well, good luck to you. What job are you doing this spring?
I'm doing private tutoring sessions. I think I may have taught basic calculus to a 10-year-old the other day, which is something. I kind of wrote a slideshow for it. And then I'm also doing teaching with a kind of a class of basic programming and robotics.
Cool.
I done basic Scratch, really simple stuff, but they're kids. And then I think I might start doing Java too, which so it's good.
Einstein said if you can't teach something to a 5-year-old, you don't really understand it.
Didn't Einstein say that or
Yeah.
something like that? Yeah.
Yep. Love that quote.
Same. It's perfect.
Yeah, no. One of the things I think people were talking about before you jumped on maybe is there is a lot of opportunity to do tutoring at TCNJ. You know, to be a paid tutor in the department, tutoring physics specifically, or there's also a tutoring center on campus where you can tutor one-on-one sessions in physics or math or any other subject that you really would like to tutor in.
Thank you. That sounds like a lot of fun. That definitely sounds like something I would enjoy doing.
Yeah, actually, I would say a good number of our students do that. Probably maybe close to a third of our physics majors do tutoring at some point, I think.
Demand is high, I assure you.
I guess another thing that would be good to mention is Dr. Richards actually runs a learning assistant program. You want to describe that, AJ? That would be a good thing, you know, if you're thinking about, you know, hoping to teach physics to college students one day, you sort of get a chance to practice that a little bit.
Yeah, the idea behind the Learning Assistant program is we take advanced undergraduate students who have passed our intro courses, you know, and done quite well in them, and we have them work alongside the faculty member who's the course instructor as sort of an additional supplemental instructor. So it's sort of in some ways similar to a teaching assistant, but it's not, you know, you alone, it's you working with the faculty member. So both of us would be cycling around, helping to answer student questions, troubleshoot apparatus, spark discussions, all that kind of thing. So it's a really nice way to get a little bit of teaching experience, firm up your own content knowledge, and it's super beneficial for the students as well because they're just getting so much more face-to-face time because you basically halved your, you know, student to instructor ratio. So, so it's quite nice, and I really enjoy working with learning assistants as an instructor because it gives me that extra time to go into deeper conversations with my students instead of running around like a crazy person trying to get to all the hands in the air. So it's something that you know, I can't imagine living without it, and it's something that we've had some good success with here at TCNJ.
It's something that you know also is a nice thing to put on a graduate application because almost all graduate students are going to have to do a teaching assistantship at some point, and the department chairs and people that are looking for new grad students, if they can have some confidence that the student's going to be a good TA, that's sort of a unique qualification.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, well, I'm going to have to go help my kids navigate the end of their virtual school day here. So I'm going to leave you.
All right, thank you. Good luck with that.
It was nice meeting you. Have a good one.
Thanks. It was nice meeting you guys too.
All right, have a nice weekend. Thanks for jumping on, Dustin. Talk to you soon.
Thank you very much. Have a nice weekend. All right. Bye.